Hello BBN, Kentucky visits to recruits Tajh, Ariza, and Christian Collins. Could they be great prospects for the Wildcats? Let's analyze this news. This past Thursday, the Wildcats coach, accompanied by his assistant Jason Hart, was in St. John, Bosco, California, to get a closer look at two of the most talked about names in the 2026 class, Tajh, Ariza, and Christian Collins. Ariza is ranked 17th overall in the nation, establishing himself as a versatile prospect with the potential to make an immediate impact on any program. Collins, a teammate and also a power forward, boasts even more prestige nationally, the third best small forward and eighth best prospect in the 2026 class, according to the Rivals industry ranking. The two officially visited USC in August, but Collins has a scheduled visit to Kentucky, October 3rd to 5th, when he'll get a first-hand look at the Lexington atmosphere, and Pope's project, the visit to California, demonstrates how meticulous the Wildcats coaching staff has been in mapping out and prioritizing its top targets. In just 2 days, Kentucky has already gone through names that dominate analysts' lists. Point guards Tajh and Jason Hart Jr., who were scouted at midnight on Wednesday. Talents Baba Oladoton, Jordan Smith Jr., and Arafin Diane, who also received attention. Finally, the nations know. One prospect, Tyron Stokes, who was seen Thursday morning. It's an intense and strategic schedule that highlights not only the breadth of Pope's recruiting network, but also the clarity that Kentucky is willing to compete and win every battle for the top of college basketball. For Pope, the move is twofold. On the one hand, he's building a solid foundation for the Wildcats' immediate future. On the other, he's reinforcing a message to the national stage. Kentucky remains a priority destination for any young players seeking elite development, visibility, and a reliable gateway to the NBA. The confirmation of Collins' official visit is a positive sign, and the impact of an experience in Lexington, combined with the tradition of Rupp Arena and the strength of the Kentucky name, is expected to influence the final decision. With so many big names in the mix and a plan that covers virtually all the top prospects in the 2026 class, it's clear that the second year of the Pope era will be marked by aggressive recruiting. Kentucky doesn't wait to be picked. It goes after them, shows presence, and builds relationships. It's this proactive style that, along with recent results, 8 wins against top 15 teams last season and a return to the Sweet 16, has projected the program back into the national conversation. In practice, the visit to Ariza and Collins at St. John Bosco symbolizes more than just checking Pope's calendar. It's the continuation of a carefully crafted itinerary to ensure that, among the names who will define the future of college basketball, many choose to wear the blue and white of Kentucky. Let's move on. In an era where college football is dominated by players who can quickly adapt to changing positions and philosophies, Alex Afari Jr. emerges as a prime example of this versatility within the Kentucky program. Since his arrival in 2022, when the Wildcats overcame local giants like Cincinnati in the competition for young talent, it was clear he would be an important piece in Coach Mark Stoops' tactical framework. However, few could have predicted the extent to which Afari would demonstrate his adaptability and evolution. The beginning of his career was marked by tactical experimentation. Initially signed as a cornerback, the athlete quickly drew attention, not only for his agility typical of a secondary player, but also for his unusual physical strength. This duality allowed Wildcats defensive coordinator Brad White to envision something bigger for Afari: the hybrid linebacker nickel position. The transition was swift, and even as a freshman, he already showed signs that he was destined to become a pillar of the blue and white defense. Despite being a rookie, Afari showed maturity, appearing in 13 games and starting 3 times, contributing significantly to one of the team's best defensive seasons in recent years. However, Afari's true breakthrough came in his sophomore season, when he racked up impressive numbers such as 49 tackles and 5 tackles for loss. His versatility continued to be explored, but there was a growing consensus among the coaching staff. The young man had the potential to shine even more at inside linebacker. With Derek Jackson out, the pieces began to fall into place. Afari was deployed full-time at center back, a role that required leadership, game reading, and a unique combination of speed and strength. The result, a solid performance, with 62 tackles and 11.5 tackles for loss, even in fewer than 500 snaps. It wasn't a journey without challenges, but each obstacle seemed to only strengthen his confidence and technical refinement. This season brought the culmination of this transformative journey. In the first game against Toledo, Afari made it clear he was ready to take the next step in his career. With 13 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a sack in 56 snaps, he not only dominated the field but also dictated the pace of the game. His new status as a defensive leader was recognized by both his teammates and the coaching staff. "I definitely feel more comfortable," Afari told KSR, reflecting on his new position. "I've gained weight and played this position for 2 years, so I know all the ins and outs of linebacker." This sense of self-confidence was echoed by Coach Mark Stoops himself, who highlighted his protégé's technical and mental advancement. For Stoops, Afari took another step, a statement that resonates like a green light for anyone following the program's development. Brad White, the defensive coordinator known for molding exceptional linebackers, was emphatic in praising Afari's early performance. "Probably his best game," White said, highlighting the player's quick decision-making and the violence he applied in his tackles. These attributes are crucial for any linebacker hoping to excel in the competitive SEC, a conference that typically produces NFL-ready players. And looking at Kentucky's recent record, it's clear that Afari could follow in the footsteps of names like DeAndre Square and Jordan Jones, both All-SEC honorees and part of the legacy of linebackers produced under Stoops. But Afari's impact goes beyond statistical numbers or comparisons to veterans. He embodies the resilient and adaptive spirit that has been the hallmark of the program in recent years. Under Stoops, Kentucky not only built a solid defense, but also created an environment where young talent can flourish, regardless of their background or starting position. Afari is a living example of this, a player who arrived as a cornerback, underwent tactical adjustments, and now establishes himself as one of the central pillars of the defense, capable of directly influencing the team's fortunes in decisive matches. Looking ahead, it's hard not to imagine Afari as a name that could figure in discussions about the top stars at the position in the SEC. His ability to read the game, combined with his physical strength and growing experience, puts him in a prime position to become a draft pick, following in the footsteps of other linebackers trained at Kentucky. Let's move on. Universities spend millions of dollars annually to attract top high school talent, ensuring their teams are consistently well-positioned on the NCAA's strategic board. The Kentucky Wildcats, under Mark Stoops, are no exception, and recent data has emerged that puts into perspective both the program's efforts and limitations in terms of recruiting spending, according to an article published by Pete Neckos of On3. The Kentucky Wildcats ranked 42nd among all Division I programs in recruiting spending in 2024, spending $1,243,848. While this figure may seem impressive at first glance, it falls short of the average for SEC programs, which each spent about $2.8 million in the same period. The discrepancy becomes even more evident when comparing Kentucky's investment with that of the Tennessee Volunteers, who led the nation with a budget of $5.3 million, more than 4 times the amount spent by the Wildcats. These figures reflect a widely known reality. Within the SEC, financial resources often dictate the pace of competition. While giants like Alabama, Georgia, And now Tennessee invests stratospheric sums to ensure their programs remain at the top. Other teams, like Kentucky, need to find creative ways to maximize their return on investment. And in this context, the work of Mark Stoops and his staff deserves special attention. Despite being far from one of the conference's biggest spenders, Kentucky managed to finish the 2024 recruiting cycle ranked 25th in the Rivals rankings, a respectable feat considering the financial constraints. This demonstrates that the program has been able to attract talent not only through the sheer volume of money, but also through the reputation built over the years under Stoops. Since taking the helm in 2013, the coach has transformed the Wildcats into a competitive team, winning bowl titles and establishing a culture of excellence that attracts promising players. However, the 2024 season was a reminder that the path to success in the SEC is fraught with challenges. With a 4-8 record and only one conference win, Kentucky faced significant challenges, something that can be attributed to both intense competition and financial constraints. For a program not at the top of the spending pyramid, every mistake or poor decision can have a disproportionate impact on the bottom line. Kentucky's modest recruiting budget should not be seen as a weakness, but rather as a challenge that fosters innovation and efficiency. The program has demonstrated a knack for identifying diamonds in the rough, players underestimated by traditional rankings who ultimately blossom under the tutelage of Stoops and his staff. Furthermore, focusing on developing talent within the program, rather than relying solely on big-name recruits, has been an effective strategy for keeping Kentucky relevant on the national stage. Looking ahead to 2025, the goal is clear: to recover lost ground and secure a bowl berth. This will require not only further optimizing available resources, but also continuing to invest in internal player development. The foundation is already being laid, with young talent like Alex Afari Jr. demonstrating the potential to become leaders within the team. Furthermore, the experience accumulated over the past few seasons offers valuable learning for the entire organization. The Kentucky Wildcats' true strength lies not in the astronomical sums they spend on recruiting, but in their ability to do more with less. It's a philosophy that has echoed throughout the program's history and continues to shape its future. While other SEC teams vie for the highest spending, the Wildcats are busy proving that heart, dedication, and strategic intelligence can still make a difference in the world of college football. Inspire your players to exceed expectations, inspire your fans to keep believing, and, above all, inspire other programs to realize that, even in a landscape dominated by dollar signs, there's still room for those who know how to play the right game. Leave your comments.